All right, welcome back to a Traders. It is beautiful and sunny day today here in PA, and I hope you're out there enjoying this beautiful afternoon, what we call life. And if you haven't, take a second, take a minute, be thankful, be grateful, enjoy life. That being said, today's trade recap: morning open, we rip down, find a small base near VWAP, or back up, reject, and then Flow was looking long. Flow Zone Trader off this key level, but he was having order flow issues with Bookmap. Things weren't showing. I had a phone call, so that was right in here for him. I had a phone call up in here that I wasn't expecting about 5 minutes later, and then I just did not catch any of this. By the time I got back to my desk, we were down in here. Didn't want to chase, but we're still early on red TTM, so I took a retracement into this key level of 28,333. This range here, and you see we did hold that this afternoon at times. Didn't love it. You know, I could have had, as you see, 50 to 80 points. But we were teetering on the 5 and 10 minute back and forth between green and purple. And I'm not going to switch over just because every time I do, it just resizes the entire chart. And I end up dragging and clicking and messing with things that I shouldn't. So um, we were teetering on that. We did find a base about 50 points lower. I was targeting this range. As you see, we did find a base this morning off in here in this area. So took about 2 points, and then didn't love this again, the 5 and 10. But on the 1 minute, this is just classic setup. So I took a pop directly at the bottom here, a retest of this 28,882 level, and took that pop right up here into 914. About, like 34 points, about 30 points. And I was one contract long because we didn't have volatility start, and I missed this, and this is extremely volatile. Like, in terms of 1 minute, like, you're looking at what, 28,815 to 920. You're looking at 100 and almost 10 point candle. Like, that's extremely volatile. Most of my stops are 40 points. So just given that, I'm like, all right, let me just size down and just continue to fire and focus on the process. So we did that, took 30 points there. We're up about 32 on the day here. I let this play out a little bit. Again, just didn't love the chop. Wasn't sure if he would hold, breakdowns. I was a little bit hands off. And then this was tough. The 5 and 10 minute again weren't very bullish, but we're getting strong rips. So I should have probably taken something in this range down in here for the long. I took a retracement into this at the time. I think it's what? Let's see what this is. The Asia high. So I took a retracement into that. Went long off that Asia high. Ended up taking 11 points. Just didn't love it. We slammed down before we make that. There's an argument. I probably should have looked for that Asia low. As we based here earlier and earlier. So that should have been along there, not up here at the Asia high. We took 11 points, and as we grind back up, and I was getting ready to go to the gym at this point. I'm like, all right, not a bad day. Playing one contract, wanted to get a trade day in on an account, keep the consistency rules, and then we started moving again. We were on red on our TTM, getting into teal, and this is where the 5 and 10 and the 15 were starting to turn. So I really should have held this to this point. That would have been a nice, probably 100 point move. What, 812 to 880. So yeah, 70 points. Sorry, 70 points. So that's a nice little move there. One contract, that's 140 bucks. So that's not bad. But yeah, that's where I should have sized up, and I took 9 points. As you see, stop losses below key levels, giving me a little bit of room. Nothing too crazy here because I didn't want to give anything back at this point. And just given how bearish we were since the morning, I wasn't sure if we would retest and get above these levels, and we didn't until, and I'll get into this later on here, but so I took 11 points off that first one, and this is where that would be beautiful entry. Should have held this 70, 80 points, And then I took a retest into the Bravo, and we were starting to teeter out. We weren't getting these large, expanding sort of candles on this TTM, so I didn't love it. I took my 8 points and got out, and at that point, I was up about like 60 points on the day. Not a great day in terms of monetary values. I was running one actual contract, but just trying to get back to the system, focus on it, trust it, fire. So we took 60 points, one of my better days, and then I went to the gym, so I didn't see like any of this. And I didn't realize till later on when I checked the news, because I was kind of wondering, like, this has to be some sort of news, and I should have checked that before I even got in this short. But this was Trump apparently tweeting about canceling the airstrikes, and on the 5 minute, this is like a 200-point candle, so this is absolutely wild. And then I'm thinking, like, all right, like, we're failing to break higher. Let me short this. And I did. I was thinking when we were in this range, we were still expanding green, and on the 5 and 10 as well. I was hoping to get a short. I actually had an entry in 29,278 with stop above here to actually get that. We never got that, and then we break down hard and fast. So I'm thinking we're early. The 5 and 10 were starting to flip back and forth, and we just went up 200-300 points in total off of news. So my God, there's about a chance we could grind down. I didn't know what the news was. I should have checked. And just given we held this area before, so I wanted to get one con on as a feeler, and if we broke through and sort of kind of tested this 140 to 175 range, I would add on for the breakdown. I was going to target where we hit this afternoon, and then I could have scaled out if we would have got down to this range. But given that news, we never did, and we were starting to base slightly in. I was early. 5 and 10 were very early, and I tend not to try to short very early on the 5 and 10, but you never know. We are in the afternoon, so less volatility. Sorry, not less volatility, but less volume, as you see the difference in the afternoon, barely anything. So given that it can be a little bit different, I just didn't like it, and then so I just cut it for 12 points. I took 72 on the day, one contract on everything, and again, not the best day in terms of monetary value, but 72 points on my normal 3 to 5. That's a wonderful day. And just getting back to trusting the system, firing. This has been the best day I've had in terms of points and process in a couple of weeks. I am green on the week, on the month. Sorry, green on the month, little red on the week. So far, despite that larger red day on Tuesday, but we have mitigated risk very well this week, especially today. It's probably one of the better days I've had overall in terms of just mitigating risk, controlling where I got in. Had some sort of distractions. It's been a theme this week early on in the day. But traded well, didn't over leverage or anything like that, do anything kind of stupid. So, beautiful day in terms of points, process, and just getting green days back and getting back into that system. And again, I just realized putting too much stress, sometimes you just gotta play and dance with life rather than control it, as I always try to be in control. Doesn't work. Sometimes you just have to let go. So, that being said, traders, appreciate you for tuning in today. Stay up, stay blessed, stay positive. Make it happen. Peace.